Hey, yes. Welcome back. What is going on? What's going on? Prestige family, what's going on? Let me make sure we have some good music in the background here. Let's get some music going. How are they now? How are you all doing? Awesome. Welcome back. It's been a few days. I think the last time we came here was 5 days ago. But yes, we're back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen of Prestige. Hey, Bagava, good to see you. I know it's late. It's late for all the people in Europe, people in Africa. Nonetheless, I'm sure the replay gang will watch the video when they come back here later. So that's fine. That's perfectly fine. Nonetheless, shout out to you, Bagavad. You're going to be doing the taping with me today. So we're taping for everyone else. Shout out to Corey. Good to see you. We got some stuff to cover today. Yes, I am away. I'm inside an Airbnb. So I'm all the way away somewhere in the middle of nowhere. So that's why the background is different. So, and I made sure that the sound is, we're going to have a good sound. Can you hear me loud and clear? Also, we have a solid internet, right? Shout out to the internet. Yes. All right. So yeah, we have a good topic to cover today. As you're coming in, please do me a favor. I don't care if you're watching a replay or rebroadcast later. Do me a favor, when you get here, make sure you hit the like button, share, and subscribe. Grab the link to the video and share it with somebody, okay? As you know, we're going to talk about all these trendy topics today. I got about 7 different things we got to cover today. 7, and you don't want to miss any one of them, okay? I'm going to keep them very short, concise, because I am very tired. I don't know if you can tell in my eyes, I'm in the middle of a project, and but nonetheless, we're going to do it justice, right? So good to see you, Layla. Layla says, singing "Welcome Back," the theme song for the sitcom "Welcome Back, Carter." All right, I don't know that show. What is that? UK, Canada, United States? I don't watch TV, so pardon me. I know "Welcome Back" by Mace and Betha, the rapper. But yeah, good to see you all. Welcome back. We do have a very, very important topic to cover today. I'm going to make it the last. I'm going to keep the best for last, but the rest of them are just as good. Today we're going to be covering I've covered it in the past. In fact, I would definitely encourage you after this to go back and find this story. Just type in "Man of Prestige OBUMSELI" and you will find this story. So I've covered it in the past before. So but today there's an update on it, and I want to play the update. So it's going to be the 7th story I'm going to cover today. Right, Christian OBUMSELI, and yes, of course, we're going to talk about modern single dating and identity crisis. There's a lot going on, and what am I concerned about? After I'm happily married, I shouldn't be that concerned. Well, I have kids. I have children that are coming into a generation, that are coming right after a generation that seems to be quite confused, So there's some things that are just obvious to me, and I want to point them out. It's not that obvious to them, So I say that with all due respect. I say that humbly. But I'm going to do my own bit and just point out some of the obvious things, So yes, once we're done, just go ahead and search for OBUMSELI, Man of Prestige. You'll see that old video come up. Let me pull up the guys so you can see what we're talking about. The story of Courtney Clenny and Christian OBUMSELI. Christian OBUMSELI is a guy who passed away. I don't think it's up to a year yet. Yeah. I'm actually going to review that story as well. Let me actually pull it up right now, and then we're going to review that story as well. Christian OBUMSELI, and then we're going to review a story that came out recently. We're going to review an audio recording that came out recently. If you're up to speed, some of you might have heard the story already. So we're definitely going to be reviewing that. This guy was with the OnlyFans model, right? But it's an American sitcom. Yeah, I only know Martin. That's all I know. Maybe Moesha. I feel like that, right? So yeah, I'm talking about this gentleman you're looking at. Obviously, he was a fellow Igbo brother, who lost his life in the hands of this young lady next to him. This was less than a year ago. They were dating, they were together. This happened in Miami. And it made the news everywhere. It made the manosphere news. It made the news of the feminist news. It made the news everywhere. And there's some updates. We're going to talk about that, So without any further ado, let's just go ahead and get started, shall we? All right. So, first of all, the first story, let me share this video. The first story was actually, shout out to every single one of you that gave me a birthday shout out on the community page. I appreciate you. Thank you for all the prayers. Thank you for all the well wishes. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Yeah, so I saw all of it, and hopefully I responded to your comment if you left me a comment. But shout out to you. I enjoyed myself. As you probably can tell already, I was on Auntie B's program that day for a few minutes to teach her what Isonu meant. And speaking of, I made a little comment about the Stella Damaso story as well. But in about 2 days, today's Sunday, right? On Tuesday, we're going to come back here at the same time. Okay, so just in case you're watching the replay, we're going to be covering Dear Stella. Let's talk about expectations and relationships. So I will be talking to Auntie Stella that day, so that's going to be an interesting one. So thank you so much again. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Birthdays celebration means a lot to me because it's a mark. It's another opportunity to remember gratitude. One of the things that people miss out the most in terms of secret to an awesome life is gratitude. Most people spend a lot of their time complaining, and it's not their fault. It's just the way we're built. So it takes an extra effort. To something like a birthday celebration, Christmas celebration. I don't care what the source or the beginning of it is. Celebration, as long as we get together and appreciate life, right? Thanksgiving, things like that. So shout out to you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much so that's the first story right there. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much, Lila. Yes, it was on November 3rd, in case you want to mark it down for next year, because we're gonna be right here too, right? Thank you, Corey. Hey, D'Souza, good to see you. All right. So we're doing this late night on a Sunday evening thingy. Yeah, it's the first story I want to cover. The second story is this story of disrespect.
I do for you. I just thought this would.
Now, I think our demographic here, majority of us are between the age of 25 and 54. 87% ladies I'm just being open with you, okay? And about 13%, a few gentlemen that men that don't have any problem being held accountable, they come here to hang out. So I appreciate all of you. Men that have problem with accountability will not stay here because for obvious reasons, and that's fine. Really, all we need is a solid 10% to make the impact we need, right? Thank you, D'Souza. Thank you. All right. So there's this video here. It's an outright disrespect, and I want to unpack it. They put this out themselves. One of the daughters of this man put it out, right? Over here, I always talk about it's not about right and wrong. It's really not about right and wrong. Trust me when I tell you. When it comes to these topics of relationships, it's not about right and wrong. Okay? The moment you think you're just always right, you instantly become wrong. So, and there's this tussle back and forth between what is right and what's wrong. It's just not worth your energy. What you're better off doing is learning how to nurture your relationships. Again, it goes back to what I said earlier, which is gratitude. The relationships in your life are there for a reason. It's because it's what you attracted one way or the other. Is the cards you have been dealt. Okay? And, a lot of people feel like it could be better. They don't say it out in those exact words, right? But the way they say it is they complain. They complain about their father, their mother, their son. They complain, And if you focus on just the negative in all your relationships, guess what they do? They expand. Anything you focus on when it comes to emotions, expand. Emotions will fill all the gap, It is what it is, So even though you mean well, you were just trying to make it better. You're just trying to call out the bullshit, right? You focus on negative, it expands, it gets bigger, So let me play this video really quickly. Let's get to it.
And us in a secure place, and I'm so fed up. Just know I'm so mature. I have no messy bone in me. Please,
don't act like you don't know what this is.
My number one priority. Then you got this one going on.
So let me give you some background really quickly. Shout out to the Tattoo Room NG on Instagram. Right? So these young ladies, they must have been 19, 20-ish. They basically pull out the video and started recording their dad. I guess their dad got caught cheating on their mother. Okay? So, is he wrong? That's the easy part. That's the easy part in all of this, right? Is he wrong?
Oh, you're right.
Yes, he's wrong. But that's not the end of the conversation. Oh, Ola, that's your problem. You don't end the conversation there. And then you encourage these people to continue bad behavior. Speaking of bad behavior, let's keep playing the video.
Truly miss your vibe. You weren't good enough. You. It was the life we enjoyed, my dear.
Dad, you fucked up.
I know.
All right, so that's a daughter talking to her dad. He said, Dad, you fucked up. Again, we're talking about what's right and wrong, Shebi, that's what we like to spend our time on, right? Okay, so now you're put in a position where you have to measure which wrong is bigger than the other wrong, or which right is bigger than the other wrong. And this is your call, okay? I'm calling you into the party now, right? Which wrong is bigger? Let's continue.
It was very nice to you, very well, believe me. It's just I don't eat a lot of you. Eat a lot of me, weird emoji. Just next time, it will be bloody if you can keep it up.
Dad, you fucked up.
Some random words I don't know. But this is a picture of the house, by the way.
Okay. You
fucked up.
Yeah, whatever it is. Anyway, people go.
Okay, so
All right, so let's pause there for ladies. Ladies. Let's talk. The mother is sitting down there, right? The mother clearly... she's been hurt, right? Her husband cheated on her, right? She said, anyway, keep it going. She said that to her daughters. That's the dad sitting down there in the red shirt. There's no way, to some people, I'm not going to come off as I'm justifying this guy. Even though I made it clear already. I made it clear that...
Well, you're right.
You're right. He cheated. He's wrong. He deserves whatever comes with that. But here's the problem with life. You know, you don't get to turn around and say somebody made me do something. Everyone will chop. Everyone will chop consequences of your choices. Even if your choices was a response to somebody else's wrong. Did you know that, or you didn't know that? Or you thought, since I'm responding to somebody else's wrong, I'm exonerated. No, you're not. You're not. Let's keep going.
There's more. You got. How are you? Sup? You take to some place, country club for swimming in some place. Same head. Okay, good idea. I'll see how it is there. Over the weekend, the pool is very nice.
So even the way that little baby girl is reading, I could tell that there's still breast milk in her mouth. Even the way she's reading, right? She's reading out a text message between her dad and apparently some type of side chick or something like that. That's what I'm getting. You know, correct me if I'm wrong, right? But even listen to the way she's reading it. She's not supposed to be in this issue at all. I know it's easier said than done. If you find yourself in this situation, it's better not to bring your kids into it. It's always better to walk away, even if it's a temporary decision. If you learn how to walk away from a situation that seems abusive to you, there's a good chance it will be a temporary situation and you can build something solid out of it, even into the future. But if you learn how to stay in toxic situation, I mean, if you have a bad habit of staying in toxic situation until you start destroying everything, including your kids, this is what's going to happen. The whole world, right? For every one person watching me among you 4 watching me live right now, every person is worth at least 1,000 person. Okay? Now, this whole family is getting dragged through the mud. They already got dragged last week. I'm just getting to the story late. But you know, my analysis is never late. Let's keep going.
Just horny for you. I want to sit on you, but I'll be patient and I'll wait. I'm
you
coming to you. You're late.
So some chick said she wants to sit on this guy's face. So I feel their pain. But to what extent? How far do you have to go? Let's keep going.
Break this TV right
I
now.
will be free for cramps. Some words in Uganda. Thought all this is in the good days. Ha ha ha. Just
Yeah.
saying.
That's fucking disgusting.
I should calm down. But I just take 3 days, 2
No,
days.
I'm not.
So even the way the girls are getting upset, you could tell that they are doing the most. They are a little bit extra, you know, because they are children. And mommy is sitting down there with whatever, I don't know if that's wrapper, red wrapper or something that she's wearing, encouraging this behavior. I guess she's feeling good. This type of feel good is only temporary. I bet if she ever stumbles into this video, she won't feel good now. This type of feel good is only temporary. It feels good at the moment because you feel hurt and somebody is helping you soothe that hurt. But it's not soothing really. They are egboni. They are tampering with the wound. Wrongfully. They're putting the wrong treatment into it. And if it feels good, it's only temporary. Let's keep going.
Sitting down.
She has a right
As
to
long
be
as you
upset.
can be upset, just don't be upset like
Don't feel bad.
some pictures, not good. Seka, you don't know how much I've longed for your big dick of yours, but
Really?
today isn't far enough. Oh, hi, got back to you. You sleeping okay? I'm just jealous.
This guy is sitting down there just watching his kids discombobulate, destroy him completely. The problem with this kind of guys is that he really he really shouldn't sit down there he shouldn't sit down there. You know, I don't know how bad it was. Did they lock him inside? Is he watching? Did they have a camera in front of him? What's going on? If he tried to take the camera away, would he be accused of, DV? Who knows, right? But I And he be more. Let's keep going. And this bad behavior is committed. He committed it, so he has to take the L all the way. But again, it's not the only one to take the L. If you drag your family like this in public, it's not your family only that will take the L. All of you in that room will take the L. So be guarded when you're trying to judge.
It must be fun. Let's let them clean that carpet. It's kind of dusty. Sleeping, going to shower.
Were we not in Uganda during that time?
Dad, were we not in Uganda at that time?
You need some.
Dad, I'm not fucking stupid.
Just need to send some as you did. You are miles away. You might look at those.
When your kids are very comfortable cursing in front of you, there's no way you have not encouraged that behavior in the past. I'm willing to bet all of my monthly bill on it, right? There's no way you did not encourage it. You probably were never, maybe you were not on the receiving end of it. You were like, oh, my baby girl, you spoiled them. They're able to use curse words in front of you anyhow, right? And there we go. Or maybe it's their mother that taught them how to use curse. See, every kid will learn how to use curse words, right? The point is that they're so comfortable using the curse words, even when it's time to hold you accountable. If you did a good job, I'm not judging his parenting skills. I'm just saying something happened in their parenting. Why are they so comfortable cursing so comfortably in front of them? We all know that kids will curse. But the idea is we want them to be guarded. We want them to know that there's some things that's right for certain places and some things are wrong for certain. There's the right time for certain things, right? It's definitely not in front of your parents or the elderly people. Not with Africans. They look like Africans. They just seem that they were raised in America, which is a terrible excuse for doing a terrible parenting. Because there are people that do good parenting in America. Yes. I see a lot of people continue to normalize, oh, these kids, the American kids. No. That's cap. There's bad kids everywhere in the world. Okay? So, again, we don't know the full story, but what we know is that the outcome of this parenting is terrible at this point in time. Let's keep going. So, their issue is actually bigger than the fact that he cheated. He cheated on himself. Right? He cheated on his wife, but probably bigger damages is doing on himself. Right? But these damages are bigger now because the kids are all involved and they have no control whatsoever. Let's keep going.
I just sent you nudes. Send me some words. Those big boobs. No, some words.
Okay, the big deal. Your father was engaged in some young lady who wants to sit on his face, who wants to send him nudes. Okay? All right? What's the big deal? Oh, it's a big deal. Okay, you know what? You're right.
Oh, you're right.
Okay, it's a big deal. So if it's a big deal, do we really have to destroy the whole family for that, including yourself? I mean, it's a question that I have, right? Things happen in life. Sadly, shit happens, right? Your father wanted to have somebody sit on his face. It is a little funny, okay? I'm sorry, but does that really have to be the end of the world? Is heaven going to fall out of the skies if your father has somebody sit on his face? Do you know it could actually be a blessing in disguise for your mother? Maybe your mother should have moved on a long time ago. Maybe, just maybe. Right?
Some flesh. We'll get home in an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I didn't want to. But
we
I was
didn't
trying,
Dad, explain this.
You know it's sick. Dad, you want me to keep going or is this?
Does this not recall in your brain of yours?
Stop hitting the TV.
But Dad,
Does that not recall? So stop
you want me
acting
to
like
keep
you don't
reading
know.
scenarios, or you got the?
Then
you
what
got
the
We
fuck
didn't show her
is this?
everything because we love my mom.
So now explain what this is.
This is what the kids you didn't want to show.
Yes, sir.
Dad.
That's why we didn't show
Dad.
My son.
So I don't necessarily, he's sitting down there, with his, and he's just watching. I'm not sure if he's necessarily doing anything wrong because it depends on the circumstances in that room. What's the worst that can happen? The worst that can happen is he can stand up and try to get that camera, and then they will accuse him of all kind of craziness. Who knows? When you listen, you know, anything can go down if you get physical with your kids, or assault them, anything like that. Definitely, I don't advise that. If everything else fails, just relax. It's not going to be the end of the world. Even if this video will be forgotten soon. Okay, the only reason why I'm reviewing is because I want us to extract the lessons as usual, right? So it's not necessarily doing anything wrong in this moment in time, just watching them, because we don't know. Maybe they lock the doors. Maybe they really just want to become dramatic. Maybe they've learned how to be dramatic from their parents over time. So it sounds like it's about 3 girls, teenagers, maybe late teenage years, that are accusing their father and cursing directly at their father right now, and the mother is sitting down there like all is well. Let's keep going.
Expression that since this
Daddy.
in 20 something, that's when you started seeing this person and whatever. This is what the kids you didn't want to show.
Yes, sir.
Dad.
That's why we didn't show.
Dad.
My suspicion that since this
Daddy.
So we don't know. It sounds like the wife is also saying maybe the kids found the messages. Who knows? Maybe the kids was I don't know. All I know is that these kids have no respect whatsoever for their parents, and that issue is worse. Okay, that issue is worse than a man cheating on his wife and himself. I don't care what you say. Okay, that issue is worse, much worse. Okay, there's just too many facets to why it's so worse, right? That's why we have to do a better job at parenting, because the one thing we have to keep teaching our kids is honoring their regardless. I know it's difficult depending on what kind of conduct or how your parents have conducted themselves. It can be hard. It can be very hard. But that's why it's very rewarding if you can find it in yourself to continue to honor your parents regardless. Okay, there's no scriptures in this world that doesn't encourage that, for a good reason. This is one of the things that we really can't afford to act like we're smarter or wiser than people that came before us. If you don't understand why you must honor your parents regardless of what, don't disrespect them yet. Just relax. Maybe 5 years from now you will get it. Maybe 10 years from now you'll get it. But I guarantee you, as you get older, it will start to make sense. Okay, there's just too many variables that you don't know. Sometimes the easiest thing for you to see is how much of an addict your mother is. She's a drunkard. He's disrespectful to your mother, and the best thing that the first thing you want to do is say, no, shut up. You don't know what you don't know. You don't know what you don't know. Majority of our parents were kids raising kids. If you're 23, 25, 30 years old raising a baby, you're a kid. You don't know anything about life yet.
In 20 something, that's when you started seeing this person and whatever. I was just like thinking about whatever you're not doing right. But look, God knows there's God when He does something.
And you don't believe in
I should
him.
let it say.
God brings things in the light. I don't trace what I don't want.
I'm gonna embarrass the shit out of you.
Look at what.
I'll tell
Eventually,
Sorry.
this is what
Fucked
eventually.
up, bro.
No. I don't think it's a joke. It looks like a joke because normal pikin no fit tell their papa say he's stupid. You're right. Normal pikin. This is completely terrible, right? Normal kids will not do that. Even the most disrespectful of them can still find in themselves to like, all right, damn, like why that? They know they're disappointed in their dad, but to outrightly, so it's a lot going on here, and these are ladies. They clearly don't have any respect for men. Okay, so let's keep going.
See, this is what the kids did not want to show me when they came back and wanted the over there. But my intuition was that something was not going right. And I say we go for it. But
You want to do therapy.
refuse, but
That means you didn't want
tried
to
to
fix.
save your
You
marriage.
she want to save the marriage. How many times are you gonna go ahead, Dad?
And they didn't
You're
want
fucking
me to say
ridiculous.
this. Now we've seen it between all of us as we are sitting down.
Everyone's gonna see it, by the way.
She wants to save the marriage. There's a topic that's coming up next that I'll talk about. People that want to save marriage by all means. Listen, I'm happily married. I want you to save your marriage. Okay? But there's a fine line between self-respect, self-love, and by all means you must save a marriage. Do or die. There's that fine line that I'm noticing that people are treading. And a lot of the clergies are doing a terrible job creating a clear line between the two, right? They're doing a terrible job because everyone should just protect their marriage, right? We're going to talk about that when we get there. Yeah. Leila says, I was born in Nigeria but raised in America, but my parents raised my sisters and me like we did for Niger. And if I talked anyhow, my dad would slap me well. I feared my parents. So, exactly. So, the way I even look at it, like for me, my parents, I can only remember once, maybe twice, that my father beat me, right? But that moment I was very little. I must have been 5 years or less, maybe 4 years old. But that experience was stamped in my brain for life. I never wanted that to repeat itself. Not just because of the pain of being beat up. There was no pain. It wasn't that much, right? It was the idea that it was that in addition to the fact that, like, nah, this is my hero, man. I don't want to disappoint him, you know. I never want to disappoint him, you know. So there's a lot that goes into parenting. Like I always say, it's really about what the examples that you're laying down in front of your kids. The examples. That's really what it comes down to, you know. But yeah, let's keep going.
Sit down.
No, I'm not sitting down.
Just don't keep
I'm not sitting down, Dad.
So you could tell one of the siblings that says sit down, and she's saying she's not going to sit down. She keeps filming her dad. All right, and she put this out because she actually said somewhere in the video, like, and this is going out, by the way. And I'm like, wait, where's the sense in that? Why are you filming this, right?
You should be ashamed.
So the question
Dad,
is,
listen. How many fucking times are you gonna put my mom through the same fucking bullshit? Dad, you tell me about don't.
Okay, so you notice in the room, like, they were encouraging her behavior. This is the young lady behind the camera. They were encouraging her behavior. Now they're like, no, wait. If you allow small worry, expect that the worry can go to another level entirely. Don't be shocked if somebody's worry can go to the next level. Don't be shocked if you allow small worry, right? Because it's feeling good. The problem is that when that worry starts to grow wings, right? You may not be able to stop it. It's too late to be stopping her. Right? Well, he's a freaky guy, so Abi. A little deviant sexual behavior should have been practiced in marriage, not outside it. B, you know. Alright, so see, I don't know if you understand what I said, but it's okay, you know. In my opinion, if I was to, I'm not God, so I can measure one sin against the other. Disrespecting your parents is much more bigger than cheating on a romantic partner. Okay? The reward, the consequences is grave, you know. It's not worth it, you know. Cheating on a partner, there's too many variables that can go into that. Once you enter a romantic relationship, you're basically you're signing loyalty away. They can destroy you just because they feel terrible in a moment in life, you know. But disrespecting your parents, there's a lot that goes to that, you know. So let's keep going.
No, I don't care who you are. But guess what? You could be my father, but you not know. Listen, Dad, listen, Dad. You have not that father figure. I don't care who you are to me. You are nothing to me.
I found out during the womb day.
She found out.
4 days, but I never. Me and you don't have a good relationship. So when I saw this and I read this, it didn't hurt.
It
me
didn't hurt
because
her.
I've already decided 14
You're a
years
piece of
ago,
shit.
14 years ago, I lost you as a dad. So 14 years ago, you were my financial bank, and that's what it was. So when I saw this, it didn't hurt me. She found out. Tyra found out the day we got back, and Tyra cried. I didn't even cry with it.
Ashley found out today.
Ashley
That's
found out
why.
today.
I want, Dad. I told people I want to kill you, Dad.
24 hours ago. And Ashley loved you. Ashley loved you. And that's why she's so mad like this, because she loved you. So when you tell her not to yell, that hurts her, because you're telling her to suppress her moment. No matter that you are her father, you are her father. She loves you and you hurt her.
Dad, you have nothing to
You
say.
made a decision, so you have to take it in. Your
Daddy, you have
two
nothing.
daughters that love you so much are heartbroken right now. So however they feel, you have to just sit there and take it. Yes, you are their
Dad,
dad.
I'm a blessing the shit out.
All right. Did you notice that these kids made it about themselves? They completely forgot about their mother in the whole story. Did you notice? Right? She said, "You can't believe it. I actually told my friends I'm gonna delete you." Really? They completely forgot about their mother. What does that tell me? They're just being extra. They're disrespectful. It's not about the cheating. They're just terrible kids. Well, they gave birth to their kids. They raised their kids that way because they don't fall out of the skies like that one day. They've been behaving this way before their father was caught cheating. Okay? This right here is about parenting. Okay? Because we know what's right and wrong. We already made that clear, right? We already made that clear. Cheating is wrong. That's easy. That's the easy part about life. People still cheat. They're not exonerated. There's consequences for that. This little nuances, things where we perpetuate certain behavior because we think it's a response to a worse behavior. This is where the devil comes in and destroy people. It's usually from a blind spot. It's not the obvious stuff. It's usually from a blind spot. Things like, let me disrespect my dad since he was wrong. He cheated. That's where the devil comes in and destroy you. That's my job to point out. The ones that are not easy to point out. The issues here are bigger than these babies. These babies are struggling. I guarantee they have other issues going on. This is just another opportunity to showcase their disrespectful behavior. I guarantee you that they don't only disrespect this guy, they disrespect their mother as well. I guarantee it. Leila says both are bad. You must have respect for your parents and not cheat on your wife. Well, if you're disrespecting your parents when they're wrong, is that wrong? If it's warranted, if in your little small brain of 19 years old, 18 years old, you've deemed it fit like, hey, they deserve disrespect because, they don't know how to behave. Right? Does that make it right? They may have processed in their mind that is right. Right? After all, everyone has the right to be right. Until something happens in the future and you can't even trace it back to, what did I do when I was 19, when I was 18? What did I do? This behavior have a way of transplanting themselves to other aspects of your life. It's not even about disrespecting your father. It's not. But that same core behavior, the core behavior that made you completely, you lost the empathy for even your mother when you were addressing the issue. And then it was just all about you. You just want to cry and film the whole thing. You think that's going to stop? Even if the father stopped cheating right now? No. It's not going to stop. Guaranteed. It's definitely not going to stop. Okay? Bhagavad said, wonder shall never end. I've seen this before. This behavior don't start overnight, When the children become the parents, yes, because the mother is not saying a lot. I think I heard something like, no, it's too late. It's too late. Both of you and your husband will will collect woto. since you did a terrible job raising this kid. Okay, is this about parenting, or the guy cheated or wanted to get he wanted to have his face sat on? Right? I know what we'd like to talk about. It's just wrong. He's wrong. You're right. That's not the bigger issue now. Okay? Okay? As a grown man, we can't teach old dogs new tricks. If he's cheating and you can't handle it, easier said than done. Granted, find your own levels, because there's probably another better experience of love for you out there. But when we do a terrible job at parenting, you're raising another generation of terrible people. You know? That disrespect didn't start today. That's a fact. They got triggered fully on this one. Yes. So let me go to the next one. Let's get into the next story here. Let's talk about Cora Obidi. Cora.
My lawyer, thank you guys for all the support that you have been giving towards this case and everything. I just got from my lawyer that our brother in the Lord, my ex, has filed for my children to be immediately taken away from me, but was denied by a judge. He also is asking for spousal support. And I have been paying our children's school fees since February till now, which is approximately $1,800 per month on my own. I was going to be quiet about this because this is stretched. It's literally stretched beyond, it is beyond stretched. This has to be the longest divorce I've ever seen in my life, but it doesn't end. It's not ending, and it's not ending.
Do you notice that the louder she gets, the louder the baby gets in the background? You have to love babies, right?
Hey! It's not ending, guys. So he wants spousal support.
Did you notice the fake laugh she just gave? She gave the baby a little fake laugh, and then she's hurting. You know. I'm playing this video for those that I'm playing this video for those that don't do proper work but want to just outrightly encourage divorce. You know, I'm playing this for you. There's the extreme of both things is what I don't encourage. Like, you can't just run to everybody that complain about their marriage and say just leave. No, I don't. I do say just leave to certain things when it becomes a matter of life and death. You know, leave first. If you feel like you're, as a man, you feel like you're being provoked, leave first. Anything that's already crossing that line where anger is going out of control, yes, leave first. But I don't encourage just leave first just because you fell out of love. Because you don't like him like you used to like him. Just because you've lost yourself. I feel like I've lost myself. You know. No, I don't encourage living for that. Okay? I don't encourage. You're a grown adult. You're committed to something, you know. At least you want to make sure you do some root cause analysis before you start to talk about your feelings. You know, so I don't encourage just off of feelings, just leave, right? If you feel like your life is threatened, even emotionally, yes, because what good are you if you're no good emotionally in your situation too? It's just as bad, you know. So but more importantly, I do think we should listen to full-blown stories, understand a little bit in depth before we have cast judgment, you know. Let me see if I can find it. Because as part of this story right now, because she's leaving, but the guy left first. The guy actually filed divorce, but there's a good chance she already left that marriage before the guy filed divorce. The guy I actually dragged him, like it's going up to like a while, like months ago. You can go find it. I talked about Cora Obidi, and I dragged the husband because of the way he came out in public. It wasn't just necessary, But the truth is, I don't know the complete intricacies of what happened in that marriage, right? But we know that he's leaving. Not only that, he's filing to take the babies away right now, It's going to be hard for me not to see him as a racist, But I don't know. When was the last time you heard a black man file divorce and try to take the kids away from the Nigerian man? Let me say Nigerian man. I know it probably has happened before, but when was the last time you heard that before, right? But again, let's keep going. I'm not defending Cora here. I can guarantee that Cora was not the most well-behaved person in that relationship. In fact, there was a video that was floating around when they first filed of her being completely disrespectful and ignoring the guy, right? But when people are in terrible relationships, or the relationship in a terrible place, they will do that to each other. It doesn't justify it, but it happens, right? So let's keep going here.
Says that I am causing him mental health, and so he wants spousal support from me. He also is filing to take my children 100%.
All right, I'll go back to that in a second. Let's keep playing that.
The children to be with their mother, and then he comes and in the group and he's saying, "Oh, I left because of the drama." But granting interviews to bloggers. Hey, mama. Hey. But granting interviews to bloggers, and now he was denied by a judge when he asked for the children full custody. But now he's asking for spousal support. I was gonna not talk about this anymore, but this is not ending. It's unending, and the more I don't want to grovel, you guys are going through divorce with me. You're going through divorce with me. This is what is happening. I have been paying.
This one is called Oyo. You're going through divorce by yourself, including all the people that encourage you to move on forward and fight with it. You're going through divorce by yourself. That's the sad reality about life. But again, in this situation, she didn't file, even though there's a lot of men running around social media quoting stats. 80% of women file for divorce or initiate divorce, right? That's true. That's the stat. It makes sense to me because women nowadays are saying enough is enough. They're not going to tolerate just any whole behavior. That makes sense to me. It's the natural order of things. Okay, it's called correction, right? I get the emotions behind it, but the expletives went too far. Not cool. Yeah, me too. I think you're talking about the disrespectful kids. Sadly, the kids pick on all parents' vibes. Yes, they do. They learn by example for the most part. I beg, this Cora and Justin Tory don't tire myself. But, the lesson don't tire me. I go extract them. So messy.
In 1,800 on school fees and health insurance for my daughters since February. This man has not contributed $1 just for me to
She's about to cry. It's tough. It's difficult. Don't listen. Gratitude. If you have something, as in it remains small. Focus on what you loved about it. Focus on what you fell in love. Go and sit down. Do solitude. Go and sit down somewhere and take a cold shower, something long, 1 hour shower, and try to remember what did you fall in love with about this man, about this woman. And then go back and reassess and revisit it and focus on that, because that has a way of spreading into everything else. If you go and complain to a friend, or they said, you don't have to tolerate that. Just, they don't usually say leave, by the way. They don't usually say leave. They just say, you don't have to tolerate that. I ain't going to, I will never, that's how they say it. They say, I will never take it. That's how they say it. They don't tell you outright. They usually don't outrightly tell you to leave. So somebody will say, oh yeah, Ola is capping. Ola, nobody ever tell anybody to leave. You're right. They don't ever say it that way. What they usually do is they will say they will never take it. The human mind, guess what it does? Knowing what you're going through, like, okay, eventually you start nursing the idea that maybe the grass is greener on the other side. The street loves nobody. The street is not your friend. It will destroy you. Listen, unless it's really that bad, which again, talk to a counselor, talk to a therapy. They will let you know if it's a lost cause, right? Make sure that you understand carefully that the grass is not greener on the other side. It's green probably because it's fake, synthetic, or somebody is watering it already. Meaning, you don't want to do the work, but somebody else is doing that work. It looks good on the other side. Okay? Very important to pay attention to. That's all I'm extracting from this. I don't know the intricacies. The only thing I can tell is that this girl, to me, if I was to guess, there was some identity crisis issue, which we're going to touch on with the Christian OBUMSELI story in a second. There was some identity crisis issue, okay? But maybe not. But if I were to guess, I would definitely guess that this chick really thought she found a god when a white guy said he will marry her. You know, it became a whole social media sensation. They enjoy all the attention, but then they suffered from the internal warfare they engaged in, which is now becoming obvious, right? Identity is a big deal when it comes to relationships, and especially marriage, particularly self-identity. Okay, self-identity crisis is something that I'm going to try to unpack here over time. I don't think I can really touch on it too much, but a lot of people are having it. What I can tell you is that if you have self-identity crisis, you cannot nurture a relationship. You will use your own hands to destroy your relationship. As usual, it will come from a blind spot. You won't see it coming because after all, you were in love. After all, the other person was in love. So when we talk about people eloping, right? Remember we talked about the Prince Harry stuff. It's a very dangerous game to play. It can work out for some people, but it's a very, very dangerous game to play. To completely abandon everything you've ever known, even if you were resenting it at that point in time, to go and fall in love with randoms. Make sure you know what the hell you're doing if you find yourself wanting to do that. Let's keep going.
To get something from my attorney today telling me point plain that he is asking for spousal support and he is asking for basically my children to immediately, it's called an expert, be immediately taken away from me. Yes. Co-parent in peace is a lie.
Co-parent in peace is not a lie. It's just a lot of work. You see how she starts to preach to herself now. You see how she's self-medicating now. Okay? Co-parenting in peace is the truth. You know why it's the truth? Because it takes work to get into that space. You know why it's going to take work? Because you've created damages between each other, right? So it's going to take a lot of work to get into that space of being able to co-parent. A lot of patience, backing off of each other. Everything you believe in will be tested, including if it's even possible to co-parent in peace. Co-parenting in peace is not a lie. You know how many people, listen, about 9 people are listening to me right now. You know how many people listened to this live stream when she did it? Let me see if I can pull it up because, it's better to show you. I can show you better than, let's see if I can find it. Because again, a lot of people are listening to that. And what the first thing they do is like, they search inside. They say, maybe I can relate. You're right. Co-parenting in peace is a lie, right? Why? Because they can relate. Because most people don't do the work. Most people are not capable of doing the work. So I'm not even judging them, right? Let me see if I can find this video. Let's see. No, that's not the video right there. I think I can, if she hasn't deleted it yet. Because you know how they do. They jump on the internet, they record a video, they delete it. You know how they do. Let's see. No. Let me see. She probably deleted it. Could you share one? Yeah, I think she's deleted it since then. Okay, but let's do a quick assessment of. She has, a video. A minimum of 30,000 people saw that video. Let's just say that. Okay, a minimum of 30,000 people watched that video. So if 9 people are watching us here, right, and 30,000 people are, I'm saying co-parenting is the truth. It's just it takes work to get into that space, right? So imagine how many more people are believing that when she says that, probably because they can relate, right? So we have people that are going through bad situations. They are the influencers when it comes to marriage and relationships, sadly. They become the influencers, I love and need my solitude before I face people. It is very important too. I like my quiet time. I do, As much as I'm reducing my traveling heavily right now, whenever I get to, just a little time away from the noise, right, is a big deal. Right? It helps you reset. There's no one extreme or the other that's perfect. Right? It's even better when I'm able to get away with my wife. Anyway, Lila says, remember when you marry a person and how he or she was doesn't change. You can't get mad or unhappy because you marry him like that. Thank you. But you start to know that person and then you get to know their flaws and then you zone in on their flaws. And then that expands and then fill every other gap in your mind. This is where we start damaging ourselves. You have to put in some work to remember what you fell in love with. It takes work. Sometimes you have to fall on your face and then make terrible mistakes to realize what I'm saying. But you don't really have to wait until you destroy what is most valuable to you before you can actually get it together. You don't have to. Remember when, Stella Damasos 2.0, advise us. I want advice. How did they both ever meet and agree to marry herself? I think this chick really thought she was the shit because she married a white man. If I were to guess, I want to be careful. I don't want to guess. I don't want to generalize. Okay. But sometimes after making a few sentences, I could just tell this guy's. It's a lot of girls that come here, not just with white men. Just the idea of being with an American is something that that gives them a sense of significance. You remember this? Everything we're looking for in life is in these 6 things: certainty, variety, significance, particularly from a feeling standpoint, right? Connection, growth, and contribution. You're a young girl coming out of Nigeria, a white guy starts taking interest in you, or it seems like he likes you, and then suddenly a little sense of significance sparks off in you, right? Before you know it, you're married, and you don't know what you're marrying into. You have no idea. It's too much. It's too many variables that makes us who you are as a human being. Part of it is race, culture, religion. And if you're not careful, remember there's a session we did on, there's a masterclass we did here on the different dimensions of do not be unequally yoked, right? And you want to be careful. It's not just Christianity. It's in so many ways. Even age. We talk about ages and we give like a seven different dimensions that you really want to be careful when you're crossing those lines, right? Race, culture, religion, age, so many things, lifestyle, yeah. So co-parenting is possible. You must be very mature about it. It takes work. You have to be able to apply a lot of grace, patience, But more importantly, you have to identify a big purpose. Why are you doing it? Are you doing it for your kids? What does it mean to you if your kids grow up to be fine adults, right? If you don't do that work, or really writing that out, what does it mean to you, your 2-year-old son right now, if he grows out to be a fine 27-year-old man, right? What would that mean to you? You need to do the work. What would that mean to you, right? You need to sit down and think about that, right? Okay, what it's going to take is for you to co-parent successfully. To get to the place where you can co-parent, to get to that level of maturity, is going to take some self-work, because you're going to have to just overlook quite a lot of stuff. It's temporarily, because eventually people also grow up and people get matured too. If you're just patient enough, right? Then they also mimic the level of self-respect and self-love you have for yourself. If you don't give attention to certain types of behavior, it's not going to expand. It just won't. But that period of time where it's still moving and it seems like there's a lag, it can be tiring. So if you're not patient enough to go through that process, like he or she will try to trigger you, if you don't know how to just let that be and overlook that, and you get triggered, and then you start from ground zero all over again, right? It's a lot of work. But again, when you identify, if you picture your 2-year-old son as a 27-year-old fine man, and other things like that, then it start to become a little bit easier and easier and easier. You know, it's tough, but it's work that will benefit you yourself, both in the short and long term. You know, shout out to Jojo. Good to see you, Jojo. How are you this afternoon? From Tokyo. Interesting. From Tokyo. I am doing fantastic this evening. I'm on mountain time right now, 11 p.m. here. Good to see you. Good to see you. To be fair, there are more women than men, and the good picking ratio even smaller. Not always their fault marrying foreigners. That's cap. Okay? Let me play the cap for you, because I have to play cap for you, Corey.
Stop the cap.
That's cap. The whole world is not in your circle. Your circle is your circle. I keep telling you that. Just focus on your circle, and you have the right to decide who's in your circle. It takes time. It takes work. It's easier said than done. But your circle is your circle. All 7 billion people in the world is not your circle. We cannot be using that to determine if there's enough for you to pick from or not. I can use your behavior to decide, or not decide, or to basically predict why you've been attracting what you're attracting though. Okay? I can use your belief system, right, to basically predict what you've been attracting. Okay? Your belief system, what you believe in, the kind of people you surround yourself with. There's only so many people around you at any point in time. Not all 7 billion people, not all 200 million people in Nigeria either. You know, but I hear you. But we still need to make sound decisions. Exactly. Yes. Because there's only so many people around you, right? There's only so many people around you. Marrying foreigner is not the issue. It's marrying incompatible. Yes, so at the very core, I want to be careful with that. Thank you for that, Leila. I want to be very careful with that. It's not the marrying the foreigner part. Yes, at the very core of it is compatibility. And there are many layers to what creates compatibility, right? And sometimes when you're in love, it can feel like it's compatible, right? But I try to bring the awareness of those dimensions I talked about, right? The dimensions, which is, I don't even remember. Go review the video. There are dimensions that you want to be careful. You can cross the line, but you want to know what you're doing, right? If you cross the line of religion, you go from Christianity to go marry somebody who is a Muslim. There's nothing wrong with it on the surface. Okay, but if you don't know what the hell you're doing, a lot is going to be wrong in your relationship. Okay, if you cross from Ondo State to Abeokuta like I did, to go and marry an Egba woman like I did, there's nothing wrong with it. And as a matter of fact, a 27-year-old young man who is in love, you know, you're telling your parents you're sticking, you know, it's like, leave me alone, right? God forbid to my parents, right? Telling them to leave you alone because you're in love, right? But for me to sit down here and tell you that did not cause hiccup in my marriage, Yeah, that would be complete cap.
Stop the cap.
Okay? It's real. So, in that context, I agree with you, Leela. It's about marrying a compatible partner and be aware of all these different things that can tamper with compatibility, you know. And they're usually things that you don't see when you're in love, you know. So, but when you're already committed to it, if you can, talk to a counselor. When you identify these devils, all these different types of devils, it's a little bit easier to learn how to handle them. You could be married to a white man and completely be able to handle it. There are people that have done it successfully all the time. For as many terrible stories you can tell me, I can tell you times 2 good stories. People that crossed those lines do not be unequally yoked. For every time somebody tell me that if you marry a Christian, it will be destruction, it's a lie. There are people that marry people that are not Christians and they marry. Speaking of, let me show you something really quickly. Let me show you something. So I saw these guys that I follow. I follow them. You can follow them too. They're at relationship and marriage on Instagram. Very good stuff that they post from time to time, but sometimes they can't help it. The religion crosses into what they do, and so I hear certain nuances that I can see is the reason why people get in trouble when it comes to learning how to do relationships and marriage from religious people. So religion by itself is a pedestal that you can fall off. It's not enough to just be a religious person. You're dealing with human beings. There's mental, there's psychological, there's romantic, there's all kind of facets. You will be sleeping with this person. You'll be having sex. Okay? So you need to be aware. Right? How to know divorce merchants posing as marriage counselors, you know? So I agree with majority of what they said here. They said they are, one second, let me see. It says the actual caption of this post is they are all over social media. Their response makes it easier. Again, follow them. I follow them. They're very good at what they do. It's at relationship and marriage. My wife pointed it to me because a friend also pointed it. I'm like, oh, I actually agree with a lot of, because second to actually I will pick him over Kingsley Okonkwo, to be honest with you. It's a lot more real to me than Kingsley Okonkwo. I will, first of all, Dr. Shola is way better than all of them because it keeps it real. Then Kingsley Okonkwo, and then this guy, and then Kingsley Okonkwo. Up to now, everybody else is just a bunch of cap. They will tell you that if you pray, your marriage will suddenly be good. Prayer works, but it's not that simple. I'm sorry. Anyway, yeah, so this guy says, how to know divorce merchants posing as marriage. So the caption says they're all over social media. Their response makes it easier to leave marriage than to stay in it. So that's quite a generalized statement, Sometimes I can sound like I'm making it easier to leave. I always said it's easier said than done. And I don't encourage that people should be leaving first if it's all emotional matters we're talking about, right? But there is emotional abuse, and sometimes it can get people deteriorating emotionally to a point where they feel like harming themselves. At that point, no, by all means leave. And I'm not going to be apologetic about asking people to leave when it's not worth it for them. Like, where is life if you're going to stay in this kind of situation, right? It says, please don't take critical decisions of life by social media advice. Go and see counselor. I agree 100% with that. Go and see a counselor who can speak to the issue in detail. There you go. Don't speak to people that continue to quote statistics of the whole world or a whole nation or the whole Yoruba nation, to make a point about relationship. Those are terrible advices. Talk to people that can get into the detail of what is particularly going on with you and your relationship. There are many of them on social media. You can even tag trusted ones. Go for them. Some don't even charge and are ready to help with godly wisdom. Okay? Be guided. Let me take the liberty to tag some people who you can go to for wholesome counsel. So you can see here the tag Kingsley Kingsley, Pastor, the tag, Pastor Mildred, I agree with those. I don't know what these other people are. Let me see if I see anything I know. I don't know any of these people. Nika speaks. Okay, so this is promotion. This is good. All right, so if he's, because I like his rhetoric, this particular guy, your brother Ocholi, I guess that's him, right? So if he's agreeing with them, I probably would agree with most of them. There's no perfect anybody anywhere, by the way. Their first, best, and highest solution is leave, right? They react hastily and do not take time to engage the fact with an open heart. Remember what we're talking about is this auntie right here. This auntie right here. We're still talking about this auntie.
This is not what co-parenting in peace looks like. Okay,
so she's supposed to be advising about 30,000 people before she took that video down. That's what we're talking about, right? Cora said, I mentioned it because you brought up the foreigner aspect. Perhaps that's who was in our circle. Possibly, yes. You're right. Yeah, possibly, yeah. Thank you. Yes, it's usually, you marry people in your circle, but also people maintain a certain type of circle because of what they're attracted to. Then also there are a lot of people that hate the identity of their source. There are people like that. Let's not cap, okay? And it's about what they say. It's about the fruit that they bear that we're able to know, right? Cora Obidi hasn't said anything that will make me believe that, right? But there were some things I saw, but I don't have enough. But the example that we're about to say, the story that we're covering today, the OBUMSELI stuff, is exactly that. It's basically a man who lost his sense of identity. It wasn't about just white women in a circle. It's basically him thinking ultimately at an absolute level that white women are better than black women. It's as simple as that. Because as far back as 10 years ago, they pulled up his tweets of him saying things really, really extreme about black women and generalizing heavily. At that point in time, it is what it is. It's not just compatibility. It's like, no, this is a self-identity crisis. There's no way you're not going to harm yourself. Usually, it's not going to be to this type of level where people are being deleted. But even worse, you live a terrible life with a person that really doesn't like you like that. They married you because you were the best option available to them. There's a lot of men that will get with white women, not all, but they basically got with a white woman that nobody was picking in the white community, right? That's a real thing too. Not all, but many, okay? And they are very quick to come into public and brag about it because, again, and not only do they brag about it, they basically bash their own, their very own. Not only do they do it to women, they do it to even men, to their own culture. They do it to their own, like anything that makes up who they are, they resent it. So they can't wait to run away by every way they can think of from what they've always identified with. And the problem with that is that you can't run from your own shadow. Every time you there you are again, right? You can't run from your own shadow. There's always a light on you, right? So let me get back to this. They react hastily and do not take time to engage the fact with an open heart. Let me share this again. Here you go. They easily transmit their own personal bitterness. This is very important. See, I told you. I didn't go through all the slides. It's just that I'm going to be very honest with you. The first slide was triggering. I'm like, wait, what do you mean leave? Sometimes I tell people to leave because it's obvious. Don't stay in that toxic situation, right? But ultimately, I agree 100%. Talk to a counselor first. Make sure your particular case is different, is unique from people to people. That's why generalizing is always a terrible idea when it comes to romantic relationships. Make sure that you assess the situation properly. Your own intricacies, there's fine line, there's nuances. Your own story is different. In fact, your own story today is different from tomorrow's, your very own story. So we must assess things with patience. unless there's life and death issue involved. In which case, a good counselor will be able to say, you know what, this is bad. We need you. In fact, you're not going back there by yourself again. We got to make sure that we get your stuff and make sure you're safe. All right? So it says they easily transmit their own personal bitterness on marriage. Here's why I agree with this. Majority of the issues in marriage is not toxic DV situations. It's not. It's little stupid stuff like, why did you put this speaker on this counter here? It's little stupid stuff like, you hurt me. I need my own space. In fact, go somewhere. Jesus, I need a little bit of space, right? It's little stupid stuff for the most part in relationship that end people up in divorce court. It's the minority is the extremes. All right? A lot of people are in marriages that they're not really enjoying because they don't know how to take care of themselves, so they don't know how to take care of other people either. Simple stuff, you know. But how do we unpack it? I want to hear the story. And then you tell me the story. You're still telling the story about your mother-in-law from 12 years ago. So you can't see how much effort he's putting in to make your marriage work. And with that being said, you keep comparing him to his friends, who happens to be one of your friends' husband, and you don't realize that you're doing it. Little stupid stuff like that. Yeah, that's majority of the stuff that they never get talked about because they don't get the numbers. But we're here, we're talking. They're like bad police. The first person to report to them is the innocent one. Yes, if you come to them and you talk, they just hear that side of the story. They don't have any room to hear the other side of the story. Okay, the other side is always guilty. All right. A counselor will listen closely and try to understand the facts, speak to both if possible, and weigh up all the options while considering all the interest at stake. All the interest at stake. Children, yes, children is interest at stake for you too. Oh no, you should never stay because of children. No, let's stop the cap. Okay, let's stop the cap. Children are powerful. Children are powerful.
Stop the cap.
Yes, sometimes you will look at your children, dare I say it, you look at your children and say, you know what, I'm a blessed person. Let me take a closer look. What is wrong with that? Why do we run around social media telling ourselves you should never stay because of children? What does that make? Does that make you feel? Does that make people feel good when they say that? How come they don't stop themselves and say, wait, stop the cap?
Stop the cap.
Right? All the interest at stake. If you end up in that divorce court, guess what the court is going to put first? The children. Because clearly you're not going to protect them. A counselor will not take divorce as an option when dialogue still has a chance. Now I'm a little different here. I don't encourage people to negotiate desire. If a person doesn't want to be with you, you gotta let them go. I think one of the hardest things for human beings to do is let go. If they don't want to be with you and you want to be with them by force, by fire, it's no wonder why they don't want to be with you. Okay? Now, should you say, I don't want to be with you? No. I do want you to understand that they don't want to be with you. Especially if you're a man, you have to be willing to say, I understand. I understand. That could be all they need to process that they want back with you. Or it's just a lost cause. They're done. You know, there are people that separate and divorce and they come back together 5 years later. It's not do or die. That's the way I'm different from some of these guys, these religious guys. It's not do or die. Okay? And it shouldn't be. Because it's no wonder why they want to run away from you. Why should it be do or die? Right? All right, so we'll not take divorce as an option when dialogue still has a chance. Well, dialogue about what? If we have children together, we still have dialogue. That doesn't mean they want to be with you. So over here at this point in time, I'll slow down with these religious people. I'm a church boy too, but the religion thing gotta slow down, you know. A counselor will not take divorce as an option when counseling can fix things. Counseling actually can destroy. It depends on who is counseling. All right, depends on how they're counseling, right? If they're counseling and they're trying to manipulate the other person, say, you committed to something, stay in it, it's not going to work, because we're talking about attraction. It will only make them resent the person even more. So there's a lot of nuances. It's not necessarily wrong because it's just generalization, but there's a lot of nuances. A counselor knows that in the multitude of counsel, there is safety. They won't isolate you to follow just what they say. They will allow you to consult the critical voices in your life on the matter, because there is life after the life even after divorce. Okay, so we start to agree. That means they know that there's an option. There are religious people that don't think it's an option at all. They don't even want to hear it. Okay, so they're promoting their stuff here. They are, well, if you're in Nigeria, check them out. I do like what they're up to. At least they're having a better, much more healthier conversations than what we've been used to for probably 30 years. Let me see what they talk about before I continue. Yeah. I mentioned it because you brought up, and perhaps that's who was in. Okay, yeah. They should go to Pastor Shola Adeoye for counseling. I like Pastor Shola. Say it loud for people at the back. Man of Prestige. Timilade, shout out to you. Good to see you. I feel most people these days just resort to divorce as first and only option. Yes. And we need to completely slow down on that. But I understand it because, again, we're coming from a place where people are they're operating from a place of trauma. People see their parents go through terrible marriage and they don't want to entertain the idea of it. So if they see anything remotely close to it, they just assume that it's impossible. Just like Cora was just doing, parenting. What did she call it? Parenting with peace is a lie. No, it's not a lie. Stop the cap. Love is not by force. It can't be love. You have to love in a way that the other person feels free. If that's not possible, let go, so that you can find love. They understand, Denny. If it's not possible to love in a way that the other person feels free, let go so you can actually find love. There are options. Remember, now I can talk about the 7 billion people, right? There are options. I agree with you about the religion part because it's a slippery slope and can be dangerous and full of disease. We gotta be careful. Because religious is exactly what it is. People can see past certain filter. Once they're cloud, when it's too clouded up, with that type of rhetoric. But yeah, let's finish Kora Obidi.
And I'm thankful, Chukunam. I'm thankful that the judge and people are seeing through all of this ruse. I think that it's time for us to just sue for defamation. I think it's time for us to go in, guys, because.
So now she wants to sue the father of her daughters for defamation, or father of her children. I don't know the gender of the children. Right? Short term, it feels good. It sounds good coming out of her breath, right? But all the interest at stake. What about the children? What about the future, right? You want to sue for defamation? No, you should stay focused on the divorce. Get the lawyer to do the work and relax. Drink water. Keep fighting. Sometimes you're going to want to cry, right? You're not fighting him, you're fighting for a better future for your children. Because at this point in time, when people enter divorce, they only care about themselves and they stop caring about the children by their actions. Of course, they will argue otherwise. But their actions, it just becomes, you make me I feel cheated. This cheating, I cannot take it. They forget about the children, And it's the sad truth.
I literally just got. He wants me to start to pay him now. He wants me to pay him money, spousal support. And I was gonna be quiet about this.
So that's probably why she deleted the video. She was going to be quiet. She's confused. She needs people to hear her. She needs good people around her. Just the same thing I said about Kanye West. She needs good people around her that she can share with. She can cry and she can get over it in a few minutes and stay focused on the court case battle. You know, it's tough to go through that process. You know, it's never easy.
But silence is only once you've been intimidated to.
It's not silence. That's one of the, if a lot of men are making that mistake, it's not silence. It's called being wise. Like, see the wise, it's called wising up. You don't talk every secret, every move. You don't tell the whole public. It's not silence. That's your feelings talking now. It's not silence. That's not being dumb. That's called wisdom, right? To move in silence is not silence. It doesn't mean you're dumb. It doesn't mean you're dormant. It doesn't mean you're passive. It's actually an active, wise move. A lot, for the most part, to be silent, to not feel the need to have an opinion about everything. Do not put your issues out in public. It's not silence. I understand that you can feel like you're being silent and you're not taking the higher road. You can actually be extremely selfish and be ready to destroy somebody with that thing you're calling silence and destroy them completely.
Silence, that's what happens. I will never teach my children silence.
Now she will never teach her children silence. What does she mean by silence is the question. What do you mean by silence? Do you mean silence as in like quietly fight? Like don't sash or big benon. Right? You don't do that. Right? There's monitoring spirits. The online in-laws, like Bagawa said earlier, they're already tired of hearing your story. That they're not really tired. It's entertaining and they're not here to help you. Talk to your counselor. Find a therapist. It's not silence. Don't deceive yourself. Okay? She's a great dancer. A lot of people enjoy watching her dance. I bet there's a lot of practice, rehearsal that she puts in to learn how to dance in such a way that people enjoy watching her. I bet there's a lot of behind the scenes preparation for that. Is that silence? It's not silence. Being quiet is not silence.
This man, I met him. I'm not going to say anything about it, but God knows that I helped him to grow.
Ladies, if you know you're going to come back 5 years later and come and say I helped him to grow, find another man. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. If you know that you're going to come back later and say I help him to grow, you're doing something right now and you're doing it for yourself. There's something that, okay, let's go back to the needs. So the needs are right here in front of you. You're doing it because of number 6. It's a selfish behavior. We appreciate it. Trust me, they appreciate it too in that moment in time. Until you start to say it 5 years later, I help him to grow. You're like, dude, did I ask you to help me to grow? The relationship did not work out. Okay, you're not helping yourself. When you narrate this story, I help him, I was there for him. You're not helping yourself. It hurts even more the more you say it. You did it because you were in a situation, you were in a relationship, and you did what you felt was best Not just for that person, but for you, because it felt good to contribute to that person's life. Contribution is number 6 basic human need. Right? This is another way that we cap.
Stop the cap.
It doesn't mean that you didn't do well, you didn't do good. I'm just saying, if you have to get to a bad place where the relationship didn't work out and you have to bring it up, you were doing it for yourself. Then that's the evidence that you were doing it for yourself. The fact that you will bring it up years later is the evidence that you were doing it for yourself.
To the best of my ability. My entire life was dedicated to him. And now he found something to rip me, separate me from.
That's what people do when they go to court. They want to destroy each other, including the children. They don't admit to that part. But what else are you trying to do if you're trying to destroy the mother or the father of your children? And you get Ramafagbu?
My daughters. How is that helping my daughters? If you care about the children, why are you hurting the mother? I just got this from my...
That's unrealistic expectations. That's what people do when they go to the court. They go there to rip you apart. Is it wrong for doing that?
Oh, you're right.
You have the right to be right. But that's what people go to court to do. They don't go there and laugh. That's why if you have a good relationship, okay, if you have a okay relationship, maybe you should work on it. Because everybody go collect inside that courtroom, or everybody. But sometimes that's the option. Maybe it's just that bad. And I'm not the one to tell you that it's never an option. But it should be the last resort. Okay?
Lawyer, thank God that it was denied.
So it was good news. She said it was denied, but is that the end of it? No, obviously not. So it's going to get ugly before it gets better. Let me see here. So we have another one here. That's basically what I had from. We're getting through it. Let's check this one out. Some fun stuff. Wait, before I get into this, let me see with you now they talk. I feel like if the courts agree with you, why do defamation? Because she's just angry. She just wants to hurt him back. His feelings, emotions. Which is probably why she took the video down. She probably did it in the heat of a moment. She felt, I mean, you pretty much have the upper hand and you can then focus on your children. As we always say here, it's easier said than done, right? Nonetheless, that's why you need all the support system. That's what needs to be done. Focus on your children. Focus on the life ahead. Have foresight. Because the short-sightedness will only make you hurt yourself even more. Silence can definitely be golden in many ways. Yes, in so many ways. Silence can be terrible too. You can become a doormat. I'm very clear about that. I'm just saying. For the most part, silence is golden. Okay? That's my belief system and I operate that way. The courts can take an okay relationship and make it 10 times worse. Thank you. They will destroy it for you. They will destroy it for you. Okay? Listen, there's a story that I'm actually going to discuss with you in a few minutes that we have to get through tonight. Bagaba says, can't people just divorce on amicable terms? Go, Joe. Let me show you. In fact, since you just said that, I'm going to show you something really quickly right now. Let's see. So let's look at this story. I'll come back to this gentleman in a second. Okay. What to do if she asks for divorce? Okay. this is good for your sons, because again, ladies, you have children, and and gentlemen, if you're watching me, this is very important. Okay, so a gentleman came to our back channel on at Lola and Ola, which you can follow us over there at Lola and Ola on Instagram. And he's asked this question in the past. I guess they were separated for if I remember the story well, they were separated for about 2 years, and he's trying to see if he should wait around and things like that. And I'm not an advocate for that. I don't ask people to negotiate desire. Okay? It's called desire for a reason. Okay? I just don't ask people to negotiate desire. It's going to be tough to move on. If you really like the person, if you have children, it's tough. We can give you the tools necessary to start living life. Okay? It's not necessarily about moving on. If you have children with that person, there's no such thing as move on. If you have children with this person, you can divorce all you want. You're not moving on jack shit. You're in a life commitment with that person. Okay? So you better know how to... That same relationship that you're supposed to nurture and negotiate with them, you will still have to do after you divorce. Okay? All right, good. So I hope we're clear on that. So the person says, hey, Lola and Lola, I'm back. This is after months. He said, my wife filed for divorce. I was served with a petition that I need to respond to. My lawyer has suggested, thank God he has a lawyer. I didn't even realize that part. My lawyer suggested that I just go on with the divorce process and not try to fight it, since it's clear my wife is not interested in the marriage anymore. Okay? All right, so again, it's something I told him months ago. He was hoping that maybe she will come back. I said, okay, you don't have to file for divorce. You can just wait around and see. I think she had moved across town completely to the other side of the coast, something like that. Being separated for 2 years now. Yes, I remember that. It was almost 2 years at the time. So they've been separated. So, but he wanted his marriage back, I'm keen to know from your story. So if you want my story, you want to learn more about my story, this is what he's talking about. You can grab the book for free at www.getmymarriageback.com, and there's access to coaching over there too. I don't really do the counseling thing. I coach. If you know that it's a situation that you want individual coaching in terms of how to behave in a relationship, okay? And then also attraction, okay? So let's see here. Okay, I'm keen to know from your story on what your response was to her filing for divorce. Yes, because that happened to me. If you responded with okay or fought for the divorce not to happen in court. All right, so I'll give you a short version of it. Okay, if you want the full story, it's in the book. When she asked me for divorce, I was like, okay. Let me know if you change your mind. It's as simple as that. Okay. We stayed separated in the same house and basically continued life on, and it just so happened that by the time we were coming back together again, the full story of that is in the book. She had filed, and we went together, and she said, oh, by the way, we have to go to the court and withdraw the papers. And I was like, what paper? Oh, I already filed divorce. I was like, oh yeah, you did? Okay, all right, we'll make a trip to the court to withdraw the paper. Okay, so my response was not to, so basically I never really got a petition, but I wasn't going to fight in this context. Okay, but let's keep going on what he's saying, right? I guess I want to have some rough idea of how to chart through the season the best way if I'm to ever have any chance of restoration. He's still thinking of chances of restoration. This is why I can't be a counselor. Okay, see, I know my lane. I know my lane. I can teach you to be the best person, the best version of yourself, so you can attract the love that you deserve. That's what we coach on. okay? With or without your present spouse, okay? Increasing the chances that it will be your present spouse, because there's nothing on the street for anybody. They will find out sooner or later there's nothing on the streets, especially if you work on yourself. That's the lane I go. The idea of manipulating people to stay in a marriage with you and then using things like, oh, you can still dialogue, I'll leave that to the Pastor Kingsleys and them. Okay? But I think a lot of people resent that process because it comes off as manipulative. As opposed to working on yourself, and you use natural cause of attraction. Okay? So he's still thinking restoration, which is he really likes his wife. He likes the idea. Now the question is, does he really like his wife? A woman who will basically pull the plug on you for the last 2 years and separated from you, even though that's not what you want. There's no way you like that person. Rejection breeds obsession. Rejection breeds obsession. It's obsession. It's not, you don't like that person. The moment they decide they want to come back, you will resent them because you can't trust them. What if you sleep, you look over your shoulder every day? Maybe tomorrow she will say she wants to leave again. What kind of life is that? You can't trust her any longer. So, a chance of restoration when she's pulled the plug? No. She made the decision to leave. She needs to make the decision to come back. And then I get to decide if I want her back. It's a tough decision. It's a tough place for a mindset to be. But when you work on self-love, self-respect, it's very hard. It gets very hard for you to take anything less than a person who is absolutely in love with you. Because you have the abundance mindset. You just know. This is where you apply there's 7 billion people in the world. I have a chance if I open myself up, if I make myself available for love, right? But if you keep open for restoration from somebody who doesn't want to be there, you're closed. Emotionally, you're closed. You're not emotionally available, right? And anybody who gets with you will get with the red flag if you don't do the work on that too. He says, I feel like fighting, but for no divorce may push her further. He knows what I'm about to say. He's read the book. Yes. The more you pull, the more she pull the other direction. Okay? Okay? That's where attraction works. For every time you say you can't leave, then she's like, why? I want to leave. That's exactly what I want to do. You're taking away from her what she wants, which is to want to leave. So she wants what she wants, right? The moment you give it to her, maybe she will have some space in her mind. Maybe there's room for her to say, you know what? Maybe I'm in a rush. Maybe your behavior has been showing that you're obsessed with her. That pushes people away even further, especially if they have traumatic experiences personally. It doesn't have to be about you. Maybe it's not about you, right? So I understand him. I understand the natural feeling of just wanting the idea of being married, but you don't really like that person. Let's keep it a buck. If you like them right now, it's obsession. You're not going to like them if you manage to manipulate them back into your arms. But easy acceptance might make her feel I was uneasy to no. It's not acceptance. It's being sure of yourself. It's knowing that it's going to be all right. That may just be the attraction she needs. She needs to feel like you have a core. She needs to feel like you're self-sustainable, because that's what a man is supposed to be, right? And then suddenly she wants a piece of that. Maybe. There's no guarantee in life. So it's not easy to. She already left you, bro. She's separated 2 years now. She said that's correct. Letting go is the best thing to do. So she talked to him. He talked to himself, rather. No, that was me. So that was me. So I answered him in the response. I'm Furuko Bulashiri, so there's no names here or anything like that. But this is something I thought everyone can learn from. So I answered, I said, that's correct. Letting go is the best thing to do. It's the hardest thing to do. That's why it's the best thing to do. you're not letting go of a person that wants to work with you. Remember, the other people said dialogue. There's no dialogue. She wants out. Now, you can try to force dialogue by saying, after all, we still talk about our children. You're like, no. Those are opportunities for you to showcase your new self, that you're self-sustainable, that you're okay with whatever the outcome is, without necessarily pushing her away. You're not saying to hell with her. Some people will take this and take it to the left and say, no, I don't need you anyway. No, I didn't ask you to do that. Because if you say I don't need you anyway, you actually need them. You're trying to convince yourself and it's not working. Go work. So I now said, but hire a lawyer so that other possible hidden interests are protected. It's not just, you're not fighting because you want. Some people will say, I don't want to, no contest. No, you should still hire a lawyer, because this is, when you sign paper with the states, there might be hidden interests that needs to be protected. You're not forcing them to stay with you. You just want them to make sure that things are fair, right? And if your lawyer say, oh, she has like $3 million hidden somewhere, you should collect at least half of it. You can tell your lawyer, say, no, I don't. You can, if that's what you decide to, you cannot tell your lawyer, no, I don't want. I just want to make sure that my interest and my children's interest are protected. There is no romantic interest in a woman who wants to move on. Get excited about a renewed life. The only way in the future with her is if she wants and willing to go through counseling. All right, so that was that story. Wanted to share that really quickly with you all before we move on to the other stuff we have. So that's your answer, Bagabad. Can people just divorce on amicable terms? Like, let's say they now found out that she has like $10 million somewhere, and your lawyer's like, no, you're entitled to some of that. Because lawyer will get paid too, percentage, right? Right? No, it's a lot that goes into it, especially children, custody, all this kind of stuff can become messy easily. And they can say certain things that can also trigger you emotionally. And before you know it, you're like, no, I won't take nonsense. Like, because you're human too, right? Respect of a partner's desire, whether bad or good, is necessary to allow him or her to make a decision based on free will. Exactly, Layla. That's all I'm saying. He or she can possibly change when given the space. The space is key. Distance makes the heart fonder. For me, as far as I'm concerned, you can move on if you want. But that person you're moving on with, now jealousy go kill them. Because they will never be sure if you're still sleeping with me or not. But a lot of men don't understand that. They want to fight dirty, like a woman. So good point there. Let's see here. So let's get to what this guy has to say. Let's see what he has to say.
Whenever you want to bring your partner from Africa to abroad, let that your partner make an oath, as in a solid oath, that as I'm going to meet my partner in abroad, I will follow all his or her way. Anything he instructed me to do, I will follow it. And when that your partner gets his or herself in abroad, look for a lawyer. You understand? So a lawyer that will fill a form for her or for him to sign, that whenever he or her start misbehaving, or maybe he or her doesn't want to listen to you anymore, that you still have the upper hand to send him or her back to Africa. So translate it for him or her to understand before he or her sign it. Please, very important.
Need them and do it yourself. How, Sway?
Oh, God. What was he talking about? Speaking of negotiating desires and attraction, right? You're making a person sign an oath, right? A person you're going to be married to, you're going to make them sign an oath. Anikero ma fagbo ẹ̀yin people wọ̀nyí. Anikero ma fagbo.
Whenever you want to bring your partner from Africa to abroad,
Whenever you want to bring your partner from Africa to abroad, this is why they get finessed.
let that your partner make an oath, as in a solid oath that as
Not just an oath, a solid oath. Which one is a soft oath? Which one is solid oath? Eh?
I'm going to meet my partner in abroad, I will follow all his or her way.
I will follow. So it's actually being fair. In his mind, he think it's fair, right? Right? He think in his mind, he really thinks it's being fair. You know.
I think Rachel's beautiful because she's got good brains. I am the one, the way your son don't need a gun to...
He thinks he has brains now because he said him or her. It will be him or her. Nyaka nyaka.
Anything he instructed me to do, I will follow it. And
Anything he instructed me to do, I will follow it.
when that your partner get his or herself in abroad, look for a lawyer. You understand? So a lawyer that will fill a form for her.
So is the lawyer that's the one that is going to administrate the oath?
Or for him to sign that whenever he or her start misbehaving,
He or her?
or maybe he or her doesn't want to listen to you anymore, that you still have the upper hand.
Upper hand. Eh? So you go into a marriage to do upper hand. See, earlier, I think Miss Layla was talking about the upper hand because people are already in divorce court, right? That's understandable. But when you're inside marriage, you're about to get into the marriage and you're starting with who's upper hand. Is that Obi Juju?
To send him or her back to Africa. So translate it for him.
The upper hand to send him or her back to Africa. See, these lame ass people, they really refuse to realize that it's 2022 and beyond. I believe him. This is not a skit. I'm sorry, I believe him. Okay? I believe him. I believe that he's actually going to try to pull something off. Okay, even if he doesn't pull this off, he's going to continue. See, it's not about any of these particular specifics. It's about the same behavior that will show up in other aspects of life. The idea that I must have upper hand against the other person so that what? So they don't cheat me.
Or her to understand before he or her signed. Please, very important.
Upper hand so that they don't take advantage of me. The best way to make sure they don't take advantage of you is to stay single, live in the cave. Staying single is not enough, by the way. Live in the cave by yourself. Don't interact with other human beings. Don't do business with other human beings. If you come out of that cave and you do business with other human beings, yes, you become exposed. That's why you have to learn negotiation skills. That's why you have to learn how to bring value, because when you have value, you work on yourself, you bring value into the rest of the world. People will have a much harder time taking advantage of you because they don't want to miss out on the value of your awesomeness. But when you don't have value in yourself, guess what you start to do? Like, let's sign oath so that you can have an upper hand, so that you can... Are you serious? Rumashio. Anike Ramafagbu. Lila says, please make that make sense to me. He made sense to himself. He really thought it made sense, you know. Good to see you, Yuriza. Says dating is a joke. That's nobody took is... Oh, yeah, we didn't talk about the topic here. We're going there in a second. No courts would agree with such nonsense. My that way alone. That's why they have civil court and they have criminal court, you dumb. Nobody can trust how you process your emotional matters, you know. Let's move on to, I think we have, let's look at this one here. We have a young lady who wants to advise us here. Shout out to Instablog Nigeria. It says, why I can never marry a man that knows how to cook. Let's listen to her reason, you know.
If you're a man and you know how to cook, I beg, avoid me. Avoid me with God mind. I use God beg you. If you're a man and you know how to cook, avoid me. No come my side, no toast me, no come break my heart. Because all my brothers, as in all my brothers know how to cook, and I know how difficult it is for them to believe that my food is sweet. So you cannot come and be making me feel like I don't know how to cook. Brother, you must not know how to cook. So that if I cook, you like it. Anything I cook will be sweet in your mouth. Because if you know how to cook, you will find out that I don't know how to cook. So you cannot know how to cook and be dating me or marrying me. That is number one rule. And that is final. You cannot know how to cook and be dating me. No. If you're a man.
Which is beautiful because he's got good brains. I am the one, the way your son don't need a gun to...
All right, so somebody said, let me see. I think it was Zero earlier. The dating scene, right? Oh Lord, all those people. You see all your influencers. See all those people that are advising people on dating and marriage now, right? Anyway, let's keep going here. Wait, do we have sound here?
Understand that
Okay.
money is not everything. Yes, don't get me wrong. I don't agree with you. Girls need love and attention. I mean, sometimes. See, enter kitchen, maybe you follow your girl, cook. Sometimes, maybe you wash plate, laluhe. Sometimes, wash my... Yes, that's love. It's not every time money, they throw bundle. I got money. All my girls, they got money. We don't need your money. Girls, am I speaking the truth? You don't answer me. Why they don't understand that money is not...
How to properly apologize to your woman.
So this is what she's responded to. This guy said how to apologize to your woman. Anyway, I don't want that music to come and flag the video later on. So this is how to properly apologize to your woman. If you keep apologizing to your woman with all of this cash, what do you think will happen? Understanding the human brain. What do you think will happen? Not even in long term, in mid-term in short term to mid-term. What do you think will happen? If every time you offend your woman, you just turn around and you start to apologize with cash, what is going to happen? Anybody want to guess? Lila said, if it doesn't have to do with finances, property, children, or abuse, how does he think that can happen? The oath thing, right? Could it work? That's why it's a dumbass advice in the first place. Bhagavad says, shout out to you, Bhagavad, you're staying late tonight. I see. I don't want to generalize here, but a woman that doesn't like a man knowing how to cook is insecure and thinks she does have anything to offer. I agree with you. But even worse is the fact that the person is talking like they are making any sense, right? They actually convinced themselves that they made some kind of sense, But hey, that's where we are right now. People use, let me just say this. Common sense is a terrible guide to life and love. Okay, let's just keep that at the back of your mind. Lila said, what the heck is she talking about? Right, you lose her because she's not a prostitute. Exactly. Listen, the richest people in the world, they've lost their wives. They literally, okay, Bill Gates, right? Bill Gates, what you may call it? We have Bill Gates, we have Jeff Bezos. They've lost their wives, right? Well, it was a long time. We don't know exactly what happened there. I think Jeff Bezos was just done. Bill Gates was also done, right? These people, they actually married authentic marriage, and and it was over. So we know that that's a side, right? But money, like everything else in life, gets old. The effect, whatever money gives you, also gets old. So if you are the type of person that buy a Range Rover for a girl, and that's how you're able to get girls. Well, if you buy this first one, second one, third, after the third, the second, after the fourth one, right? The effect that gives her gets watered down. Okay? It gets watered down. So whatever the effect, anything like this, talking like I talk about attraction a lot, right? Attraction, if every time I just come and bring the same thing, the same routine, we go on the same date every Thursday at 2:00 in the afternoon. As nice as people make that seem, right? You continue that same routine, it gets boring. Okay? What do we need as human beings? We need 6 things, right? Based off of this theory. What do we need? I want you to really, really memorize this at some point. I want you to be able to see this coming. What do we need? We need certainty. But in that same breath, we also need variety. We don't want to be bored. We want variations. Right? We want you to change it up, switch it up sometimes, right? So you keep giving me, every time I apologize, give me, just understand that concept. You keep giving the same thing. Eventually I'll be like, okay. That's why the best apology is always a change behavior. Okay? So it's not just the cash. It could be you are very quick to say I'm sorry every time you offend. I'm sorry is also they tend to be terrible apologies because you usually use the same sentence and then you expect everything, all the issues to go away. Okay? Eventually it will stop working, just like the cash, right? To stop working. So now when Osas, that's her name, right? The lady that was talking earlier. When she goes, she may seem like she's joking.
Love and attention. Yes, don't get me wrong. I don't agree with you. Girls need love and attention.
Love and attention. She may seem like she's joking, but there's a lot of truth in what she's saying. How that's applied to every individual is unique, of course. It has to be unique because everyone is different. But women need love and care. I would argue that all of that goes down to feeling safe and secure. Okay? If a woman doesn't feel safe and secure, everything you bring to try to mitigate that, to try to cover it up, eventually will get old and she will leave your ass. If she doesn't leave physically, she will leave spiritually. That's even worse. Okay? Women need love and care. I agree. Women also need quality time. Yeah, it depends on. Some women like their space. They want to choose when they want to do quality time. And if you have a hard time understanding that, you can blame her. You can be right all you want, but it will backfire. So you have to get to know the person you're dealing with, because you may say, I know all women I know need quality time. You never want to spend quality time. That's you that need the quality time. Maybe she's kind of tired of you because of other reasons of life, and it's not really about quality time. Maybe you're talkative or something, or you don't know how to step out sometimes and go take some fresh air by yourself. Maybe you're clingy and needy as shit, like a man, as a man, right? Maybe, we don't know. We don't know what we don't know, right? Maybe it's just hard that she doesn't want quality time like that. She likes her space. She was always like that. But somehow you overlooked it and you're trying to change her right now. People are different from people to people. But ultimately, at the core of it, a woman wants to feel safe and secure. What is it that makes your woman feel safe and secure? That's your job to find out. So, love and care sounds vague enough for me to accept it. Love and care. What does that mean? What is that? How does your particular woman receive that? So that was her responding to this guy with all the cash. The lesson there is this: anything that you keep doing over and over will get old and get boring. That's the lesson. Let's go. Let's see. Alright, so let's get into this story. I'm going to play this video for you. This is a story of the day, and then we're going to round off.
Oh, like, what are you going to get this mad at me when I'm apologizing to you?
No, Christian.
Like, you're thinking I'm doing it on
purpose? Drop your high pitch.
Okay, I'm not doing it on purpose.
You touched Sahara. You know damn well the right thing to do is to tell me.
Yes, and I am so sorry.
So shut up and let me f***ing slap you, dumbass.
No, you're not going to slap me.
Give me my phone.
You have have your phone.
I don't have it anymore. Find it and charge it.
What?
Find it and charge it!
I'm sorry, Courtney.
I don't care. Find it and charge it.
Okay, just stop.
Don't talk to me.
Man.
Yeah, man. Oh, man.
Because I'm telling you I'm sorry.
It's like hard. Find my phone and charge it.
I don't know where your phone is.
Find it.
Can you help me find it?
I want!
So why?
Find it!
Why are you screaming, man? Not man, but why?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Little yeah, man. Yeah, man.
What? Like,
Yeah, I'm a little man, huh? Shut the up. I need to find it because I have to go meet Art again.
So to go out?
No!
You said she might.
Christian, just find my goddamn phone!
I don't have your phone. Can you
just find my phone!
Cece, can you just please
shut up?
Just please.
Shut up! You went to go talk to her without talking.
I didn't go to go.
Yes, you did. You always want to you asshole.
Courtney, I was on.
You literally told me about it, and I was like, damn.
What are you
You are such.
I didn't go to talk to Aura. I was going on a bike ride. Like, what the?
Get off of me!
Me going to talk to Aura is just gonna make you act like this?
You literally talked to her without telling me!
Courtney, I was on a bike ride and she passed me and I said hi. You and Courtney are having a live chat. My bad, I forgot to tell you that. That doesn't make you to act and call me a.
You're.
Yes, yes, thank you. Coming from Courtney, thank you.
I want you to get away from me! Get away from me!
All right, so let's talk about this right here. So what is the story of those guys? I was trying to review it earlier, but basically as soon as this terrible thing happened to this guy, let me see if I can show you some stuff. Let me just go ahead and show you some stuff. You see that argument right there? There's nothing good about that, right? Hey, Sunshine, good to see you, Sunshine. Sunshine, you caught us live today. Oh my God. Good to see you. I'm getting anxiety listening to this. Yeah, sorry, trigger a lot. I'm so sorry. Yeah, that was a lot. Well, you know, that ended up becoming the end of this guy. So this was a few months actually after. I'm going to read this to you. And then we'll see if there's any further lessons there. Let's see. An OnlyFans model accused of, deleting a boyfriend in their Miami apartment called him a racial slur during an intense argument before his passing. Cell phone recordings revealed. This is from his cell phone, I guess. Again, what did I say here in some few sessions ago? If you feel the need to have to record, if you feel like you have to record, this is where I say leave. There's nothing to talk about for now. Just leave. If you're already feeling like I need to record so that on the waju dejo we get to the court, I have evidence. If you feel the need to record, it's too late. Leave. Or it can become really, really too late. Just leave. Don't wait. Anyway, that's already happened. We already talked about that story. You can Google that. Just search for Man of Prestige OBUMSELI. You'll see that story. But this just happened in the last few days. They found this recording of this girl. It's coming out. This girl actually called him racial slur. Now, here's why this is interesting. This guy, one of the things that happened when he first passed was that they dug up his old tweet from 10 years ago when he was 18, 19 years old. He passed away at the age of 28. They dug up his old tweets, and his old tweets were basically saying all kind of crazy things against black women, and it was obvious he didn't like black women. It was just very obvious. This is what I mean by identity crisis. Not liking black women is not just a matter of preference if you're a black man. I'm sorry. We have a social construct here, and it's at play 100% of the time. Okay? What we have today is a lot of modern single dating. So, reason why I call it crisis is I don't want to fault them. I'm not blaming them. I'm not judging them. We're really in the middle of a transition. The whole world is becoming one. Everyone is brown, right? Everyone is getting mixed up with somehow, some way. So the whole ideology is it's just my race, religion is getting a little bit blurry. And some people don't necessarily know how to handle that. Some people don't have the wisdom to handle that. So what do? They don't know when to say, no, my own is my own. I'll protect my own women. I'll protect people that look like me. They don't know that code is still a real thing. You know? So let me go here. Let's continue the reading here. Christian OBUMSELI made the recordings before he was deleted April 3rd. This was April 3rd, so it's like a few months ago. His girlfriend, Courtney Clenny, was arrested in Hawaii. So it happened in Miami. Before they could arrest her, she was already in Hawaii. I don't know if she's trying to escape through a boat or something to Asia. While she was in rehabilitation for substance abuse and so she actually went into rehabilitation for substance abuse and post-traumatic stress disorder. So she was arrested initially in Miami and then she was released immediately. But eventually they went to arrest her. She was charged with second-degree murder with a deadly, right? So I think he was stabbed, something like that. That was them. So his story is really, really sad, right? His story is sad. But what I really wanted to extract out of that is we need to come up with something. Identity crisis is a real thing. I don't have crystal clear what direction I want to go with it yet. But if you're raising kids, if you're raising children in the diaspora, they're gonna have a level of it, right? That's they were raised in a household, Nigerian parents, blah blah blah, but then they also go to school, they see something else, and what makes us is how we're raised, our society. It takes a village, right? And when there's confusion in that, if you don't create a structure, a very set, defined structure around that, it can create identity crisis for your children. Not especially when we have a lot of marriages getting destroyed. So think about it, if you get married and you're committed, and for reasons, for the most part, but let's just say reasons beyond your control, the marriage is no longer, it just didn't work out, right? Every little thing, structure, institution you set up that get destroyed like that is just another layer of some bullshit that doesn't work to your children. So it becomes very hard for them to trust anything, or to put their might, or to put their belief system, or to put their to plant their flag with something and say, hey, I believe in this, we're going to protect this. It becomes harder because they don't trust that thing is going to be there tomorrow. This is what I mean by this is where I'm going with this identity crisis thing, right? What does this have to do with OBUMSELI? 10 years ago when he was 18, he was on Twitter publicly cursing black women out, calling them all kind of names. Basically a lot of manosphere talking points. It's just what it was. Okay. And toxic talking points, particularly, it has nothing to do with how men can be better. Just, hey, who knows? How was he able to relate? Maybe he got dumped in high school by a black girl. Maybe he never got the attention like most little boys in high school. You don't get the attention. It's typical. There's only one or two guys that's getting most of the attention. So it's not abnormal to not get attention when you're in high school. But the way some people handle it, you'll be shocked. A spokesperson said to the office does not, I'm reading now, I quote, NBC News obtained the recordings which show very little video Through a records request with the Miami-Dade State's Attorney's Office, a spokesperson said the office does not know the exact date the recordings were made. In one of them, the couple appeared to be arguing about OBUMSELI saying hello to a girl on a bike ride. Okay, so we want our children to be with secure people. No one is 100% secure, but there's certain level of insecurities that you want to be able to raise your children in a way that they're not able to sustain a certain type of relationship with people that can be secured in themselves. People that can say, "Oh, you're cheating on me and I'm walking away because I can't handle it," as opposed to becoming extremely toxic like what you heard earlier, to the extent that their story is a sad story today. Both lives have ended now because she's not going to enjoy life much longer too. What is going on? OBUMSELI asked. Are you going to get this mad at me when I'm apologizing to you? He was apologizing. How many times has he apologized? Who knows, right? Well, he was begging, even though some people's theory is that he couldn't really know how to love a black man, a black woman, but he was damn near worshiping this white woman in that recording. Drop your high pitch, she screams. She was basically commanding, like a commanding tone. You heard it. She was like, "Let me slap you." She said, "Let me slap you." He responds, "Okay, I'm not doing it on purpose." He was like a little boy that was saying, "Please, mama, don't beat me. Please." It was just sad to listen to. OBUMSELI starts to apologize to Clinny, but she cuts him off. "Shut up and let me fucking slap you," she yells before she demands that OBUMSELI find her cell phone. At one point, Clinny calls OBUMSELI, who was black. Oh, I was quoting her. Clinny calls OBUMSELI, who was black, the N-word. At other points, she cries hysterically. Yeah, they tend to cry and be toxic and be beating him up at the same time. Just toxic behavior, right? You want to be able to raise your boys, your girls, your children to love themselves enough, to respect themselves enough, to remove themselves from disrespectful situations. How are you going to do that if you don't practice that? Remember, they learn more from examples. Oh, is Allah giving you the license to leave your marriage? That's not what I said. But one thing I know is that if you continue, people don't change their behavior unless there's some form of pain or relief or pleasure involved. People are not just going to change their behavior just because they're good people. That's not how that works. People will change their behavior when they're gravitating away from pain or towards pleasure or relief. So if it's not painful for them to continue to maltreat you, they will continue to do it. In another recording, Clinton asked OBUMSELI whether he is done gaslighting her. This word, gaslighting. If somebody tends to use this word gaslighting, they are a red flag. It's either they are on the receiving end of a toxic situation or they are the one who is toxic. It's one of the two. It's still a red flag. It's an overused word. What else is going on? What happened? What do you mean gaslight? What do you mean? How does that make you feel? What did I say that made you feel a certain way? I don't know, just leave me alone. Well, that's probably your cue. You might just want to leave her alone. Courtney, that's a fucking threat. He responds, I apologize, but you hit me. I apologize, but you hit me. It is not clear what led up to the recordings. Frank Prieto, an attorney for Clinton, said the recordings do not provide context. He's right. Let me play this for him. It doesn't provide context. He's absolutely right about that.
Oh, you're right.
I don't know do we need context? This guy's life has ended, so I don't know why he's talking about it, but it doesn't provide context. But oh well, he has a defense case to fight, I guess. And he reiterated statements he made earlier that Clinton was defending herself the night of OBUMSELI. That's also possible. But again, it's too late right now. It's too late right now. So that's right there. Let me see what you all are saying. Yeah. Temilade. How was this late Nigerian young man raised? Lord have mercy. Yeah. That's why I have conversation with my boys, As a matter of fact, the conversation I have with them, I make them do a little bit of research and then we can have a conversation. Because I want to know how they think. I want to know their mindset. This whole thing is about mindset. It's not about the particulars. It's about mindset. It's a certain type of mind. Let's see. Imagine. Thank you, sir. Getting ready for work. Okay, sunshine. This one is not Nigerian again. No, he's not. He was raised, but they are Nigerians. I know many of them that are raised Nigerian. They might speak like they don't, but at the core, they're still Nigerians. But they might be battling with identity crisis, and that's the point of what I was trying to extract from there. If you can't tolerate a black woman dumping you in high school, and then you end up in this very terrible situation with a white woman, the world will judge you, and it's being judged already. And I need all the young men to understand that identity crisis is a real thing. Exactly why is it that you have a problem with black women? You have not the whole one, not all of black men. You as a person, as an individual, exactly why do you have that? We need to stay focused on that and don't leave that arena. We need to talk about that until we unpack it, until you heal. If not, you're just shooting yourself on the legs, though. Only time will tell. She looks like a user of weed, exactly. So again, the bare minimum of their own society is what you end up with when you hate your own people. If you can't stand your own people, you're going to end up with the worst that other society have to provide. It might look good on the surface initially, but you don't know any better. But time will tell you. There's healing. There's a reason why you're like that. There are specific stories. It could be as simple as you got dumped in high school or you didn't get attention in high school. But if you start hearing people like me say, hey, majority of young guys, including girls, did not get attention in high school. It's the popular girls and it's like the same thing everywhere. But there's a reason why you're internalizing that and you think it's only you. Some people it's not just high school. Some people is they got dumped by their woman after 5 years, a divorce, and they just have a hard time getting over it. And you can hear it behind their words, not the exact words, behind their words when they're talking. And then they say, it's not about me, it's not about my story. So I can't have an opinion with that dude, because I can hear your opinion plus your opinion. I can hear that you haven't gone through the healing. No, this is not a debate. You need to engage a counselor, a therapist, because you will shoot yourself on the legs. You will self-destruct. It's not something that you can rationalize. You need to unpack it. You need a professional to help you unpack it. I think if she smoked ganja, she would be a lot more mellow, unless it made her... Yeah, maybe it's a mix of ganja and a bunch of other stuff. I understand what you mean by that, Leela. I get that. I don't understand why black men put non-black women on a pedestal. Kilo day. Hey. It's self-identity crisis. I'm still learning about it. I will unpack it as I learn more about it. But I will do more so as I'm going through some of these trendy stories. Yeah, it probably created in him a stigma of hatred for black women due to a possible rejection. It is rejection. Rejection breeds obsession. Obsession is a double-edged sword. It can cut both ways. From black women because they thought he was corny. Yes. Also, some people, it's a problem with their mother too, but it's something somewhere that's personal, and it needs to be treated at a personal level. Watch out for the dramatic ones. Some people pretend initially. One needs to observe red flag behaviors in different scenarios and environment. Instead of looking out for red flags, I prefer that you focus on working on yourself. There's just some things you will never attract if you keep working on yourself. Just continue to engage content that help you become a better self every day. That does the magic without putting you in a position where all you see is red. If all you do is focus on red flag, you will see red. You won't know how to recognize green. All you will see is red. So again, I say that very likely too because I'm seeing a lot of like, for example, the word gaslight. I see words repeating themselves, but people are using them wrongly, right? And then they use it to perpetuate self-hurt. Just work on self-respect, self-love, self-confidence, self-improvement, self-worth, self-esteem, all the self you can think about, right? Focus on those things. It will do the magic. That's your best point of leverage. Everything else will take attention away from working on self. You will attract self all the time. Watch out for the... Okay, yeah, we just said that. Do you think she acts like that with her own family? No, that chick is disrespectful and crazy and a maniac. Again, they are the worst of their society. You get to attract them. If you leave your own environment, your own community, to go pedestalize people from other communities, you don't know what you're getting into. You're probably pedestalizing the worst of them because the best of them, they're off the market for a reason, right? They're not dumb, I don't know. She looks unstable. Normal. Who knows? He entered a relationship from a position of weakness. Yes, precisely. Corey. That's a fact. You want to make sure that you're self-sustainable. Even as a woman these days, you want to make sure you're self-sustainable. You can take care of yourself, at least before you enter a relationship. If you can't, you attract the worst out there because you're always attracting self. Okay, you'll be off the market when you work on yourself. People can't wait to scoop you off the market. Either you're a man or woman, right? Let's keep going. She was out of control though. I mean, look at the way she was talking to him. Yeah, she was mad. As in literally, But yeah, that's that for today. With another classic in the books. If you watch Replay Gang, shout out to you if you're watching this as a replay. I know you'll watch this in the morning sometimes. But yes, I'll be taking at least a day off, sometimes much longer. I also want to make sure I have good topics before I come here. There are certain type of topics that don't fly. So, but we'll continue to do the work, So let's keep working. Shout out to everyone that's here today. Shout out to you, Bagavad. Shout out to you always. Thanks for the love always. Who was the winner in this relationship? Everybody lost. Everybody. Shout out to Temilade Alamudun, my peoples. Leila, shout out to you. Corey, shout out to you. Sunshine, good to see you today. Shout out to everyone that stopped by today. Shout out to D'Souza, I saw you earlier. Yuriza, shout out to you. Yep. Oh, shout out to Latu. They should go to... Okay, I didn't see you earlier. I remember that comment. All right. This was a quiet one. So this week, probably for the next 4 weeks, it's going to be quiet like this. For the next 4 weeks, it's going to be 10 p.m. at night. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to share with you is that we do have a clips channel where I dump short clips less than 10 minutes. They're cut from this. If you want to catch up some of the shorter clips, sometimes we'll put topics on them. We'll make it some of the talking points. We'll make the title and stuff like that. So you can check that out at let me show you, actually, YouTube, just in case you're looking for it. Hard to stream. Yeah, so if you go to Man of Prestige Clips, so it's a separate channel. You can also click, you see right there, we have 464 of us are out there. We have some videos up there. You click onto it, you see shorter versions of the videos. I upload them here. All right, so go ahead and subscribe to that and share that with everyone else as well. They are shorter, 8 minutes, 7 minutes, we'll cut them up there. If you're watching them, we'll continue to put them up there. As you can see, not too many people are watching yet. So just in case you want to catch some of the shorter clips, they're up there. All right. So thank you again for being here. Hopefully you've been enlightened. Bagaba has not come on stage yet too. I don't know what she looks like. But yeah, she should come and co-host with me sometimes. Jojo, shout out to Jojo. Thank you for pointing that out, Lila. Thank you. Yep. We are a family here. I can sing for you. Do you love this family? No. We're going to call it a night. This has been a long one. Hopefully you've been enlightened and educated. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.